Hello. Welcome back to Talk.Therapy.Heal. Join in with us as we continue to take hold of life's challenges and struggles. Stay with us and glean all that you need to move forward in life.
Yes. Good day, everybody. My name is Kenya. I'm a licensed professional counselor associate supervised by Ms. Nikki Willis.
Hi, I'm Rachel Logan, a licensed clinical social worker.
And hello, I'm Larissa Perlow, a licensed marriage and family therapist.
Hey, I am Yanika Willis, licensed professional counselor supervisor.
Hello, my name is Shatra King. I'm a licensed professional counselor and associate supervised by Yanika Willis. So, what we're going to be talking about on today, prepare to clutch your pearls because the conversation is going to get real, even deeper than before. We're going to be talking about family secrets. This secret hurts. So, especially if you are someone or families that are going through this moment, please, please, please send this to your family members, everybody, like it's a family reunion, okay? So that way some healing can come forth. So let's get started.
All right. Do we need to even identify or define what a secret is?
You gotta get from the root.
Yes.
Okay. That's a secret, Rachel.
Something that is kept or meant to be kept unknown
Okay.
or unseen by others. I just want to share this one too. Something that is not properly understood.
Ooh, now that's good. That's good. Something that is not properly understood. So not that it's not out there. It was misunderstood.
So we can look at this family secrets from two different angles, right? Something
Yes.
kept or unknown or unseen, right? Or not properly understood. And that can happen a lot.
A lot.
Right.
A lot. I definitely, when you said that, I was like, wow, so many times we see things that go down in families. And when the conversation is finally had, it's like, I didn't even know. I thought you meant, I thought you said, I thought, never, ever. That's why it's always good to communicate.
Right.
It's
Right.
really good to communicate. But wow,
A misunderstanding.
a misunderstanding. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, we all processing this. I know we are. Real time. We all taking this in.
This is what we do. This is what we do.
Yes.
We encourage you to do the same.
Yes.
Take it in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the thing that, kind of starting off that kind of bothers me, I guess I can say just being honest and transparent about it, is that making it bigger, sometimes making it bigger than what it is, depending on what it is. Because I don't want to minimize anybody's it, okay? But making it bigger than what it is. Because say if it's a simple, can you like to always use this, two uncles and somebody owed somebody some money. And it was like $5 from 1947. And we are really not united as a family over $5. And then the two uncles are no longer even living. So what are we going to do? Take the $5 to the grave, say, Uncle, here's your $5 back. Like we really up here big time Hatfield and McCoy and our family over $5. You know what I'm saying? Or it could be something deeper as, and I'm going to bring it out. I mean,
We're here.
it could be something deeper as a family molester. Now that's something, right? That's something that's not as small. And so the once it comes forth, because, depending on who the person is, they went and they did what they were told. They told an adult, the adult minimized it or didn't know how to handle it or whatever the case may be, and say, well, we just don't talk about it because, that's our family business, what goes on in this house, stays in this house, all these things. And then here, when individuals years later come to the table, it's like, wait a minute, that happened to you too? Oh my God. And then it's like, well, were you surprised? Did that happen to you? And then you find out everybody at the table, it didn't happen to them. So it's like, how do we move forward and heal from this? Because that seed, so we go from $5 to family molester. And that seed, no matter how small or big, once you get to the root, Pointed, Rachel, because that's her, practice name. But once you get to the root, it's like, okay, how do we proceed and move forward from here?
Yeah.
Because the hopes would be the 10, 12 people that's at the table, somebody don't want to continue on to their next generation.
Right.
So let's get into these family secrets.
Yeah, family secrets, unearthing them can be liberating, both liberating and challenging, as it reshapes the familial narratives. Because now, like you said, it's on the table, and once it hits the table, you can't you can't take it off the table. You can take it off the table, but it's been out there. Everybody see it now.
Right.
So what are you going to do with it? But again, liberating and challenging at the same time. So how do we really, I guess, have a solution or I guess a strategy to help in those areas? Because while I might feel like, oh, that was a load. I just told everybody what Uncle Tom did, and they're like, what? He did what? It's liberating for me, but it didn't set a whole nother trajectory for the family. The family is in an uproar now. It's chaotic at that time.
Right.
And I think that's one of the reasons why people typically don't say anything, because they don't want to be the one to break up the family, right?
That's already stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people are guilt tripped, as we used to say. Some people just don't know that if something like that occurred, well, what do I do?
Yeah.
Because if I say something, it's already bad for this individual. Now it's going to be bad for that person. Now uncle, aunt, and all these individuals are going to be mad because they're trying to protect that person, but they forget about the person that was violated in the first place. And so I think what one individual may have to do is really search themselves, like we've been saying in a lot of our shows. What is it that you need in order to heal? And if it's letting that secret out, then that may be what you need to do for you, because you can't be concerned with everybody else, because you're the one that's going through something right now while everyone else is moving down the road in their own life.
But I mean, when we talk about doing that, yes, it's liberating for that person and it's healing for them. And I know at this time, we're not talking about the whole entirety of the family. We're talking about the secrets that are being kept, but for that individual, now that they have been liberated, but now they are going to be shunned. They're going to be isolated. They're going to be like the black sheep of the family. And so it took everything in me to say this thing, and now I'm being treated as if I'm not a part of your family anymore. I'm not there. So that isolation, well, not even isolation, but that disconnection really kicks in. How do we minister, if you will, to that person to even continue to encourage them? It would be good for them to speak out, because especially when you're caught in that thing of family and togetherness.
Yeah.
And now you are the one who just blew it up.
Yeah, I would say it kind of starts with, family secrets. That means there's some dysfunction, you know what I mean, there. But if that individual could get to that safe space, you know what I mean, that secure space, to where they're able to be open and able to receive skills, tools, support, validation.
Right.
I think it'll help them, definitely go further. But, you hit the nail on the head. They're shunned from the family. That's all they know. You know what I mean? Where do they go? What do they do? But secure base, secure connection, secure, trusting environment. How do they find that?
And that's my question. Like, how can you find, how do you begin to build security within a family? Like so what you just said is true, right? So if the reasons why that we don't share is because of guilt, shame, or being outcast, if you're saying that the way that we can combat that is creating security, how do we create security within a family? Right? So how do we do that?
It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Right. But then too, I think when it kind of boils down to, honestly speaking, and a lot of people do not like to speak honest when it comes to that family, is it doable? Because creating safety, I believe, will be based on how many healthy-minded members there are in that family.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the family is toxic, one of the things that I would probably share is that your reality may be, although you need to feel free because you're bonded, the reality may be you may not feel that safe space in your family. You may feel it in counseling.
Yes.
Because once you go to counseling and then you start learning the tools and then you start setting up healthy boundaries, your reality may look like, well, I may have to just be the black sheep of the family, because the other piece to that as well is someone may fear being treated like the black sheep. They was probably already treated like the black sheep before. It even before the secret even came out. Because I need to keep you over here. Don't nobody talk to her, because somebody talk to you, the secret's gonna come out.
Absolutely.
So it's really, I believe, looking at the dynamics of your family, just like we do. And you know, people are like, get off my family, which for a second, okay. But it's like, even when it comes to some relationships that we have with our friends, there are some people that you could talk to about some things. They don't provide a safe space for you. And so it's the realisticness of your family. I don't think that it's to judge the family, to say, nope, this was crazy, they're gonna drink too much, you know, because that's what everybody want to start doing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm hearing you all say the bottom line in how to create that security in family is there has to be a level of trust.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yes.
You have to trust.
Bingo.
If you don't trust, then there's no way that that security can happen.
Mhm.
I'm gonna step outside the box a little bit. I think that security can be found, but sometimes it just can't be within that family. So as Shan was saying that, you know, maybe you go to counseling and you get that off your chest there, they're helping you work through it. Let's say that's all your brothers, sisters, mothers, aunts, and all that stuff, but you're married to somebody else. Sometimes that trust has to be formed with that other family, that other circle, so that you can move forward, because they're not going to always go where you want them to go. I've seen cases like that where an individual may have been molested in a family and everybody kept it a secret. And when something came out, oh, we disown you, this, that, and that. But that's okay. You disown me, but I'm married with my wife and kids. They have to make their own path. So your family of origin sometimes may get pushed aside for you to be happy and secure within the family that you created.
I feel like, I just seen like a neural pathway. You know how when we're on a path and we have this thought process on how things go or how the path is going, but then we grow or we take I don't want to say a detour, but not really a detour, because it's like you create something off this pathway that expounds on it and takes you in a different direction, still in the path that you wanted to go to, but you're just taking a different route.
Absolutely.
So having your family, kind of like we talked about with the tree.
Yeah, I was like,
Yes.
The tree and not the branch. Yeah, so having that tree being the family as the foundational piece, but you have your own branch that you created or has been created for you, that now you create your smaller branches off of that. So while you might still have some level of attachment to the actual tree or the family, you've created your whole other system over here.
Absolutely.
And you're functioning healthy.
Yeah.
And so I think another determinant factor would be in the family. And it, of course, being able to do this, I believe it would have to be after you done went through counseling, you done did your work. Because we're talking about $5, it may be traumatic for us all. But when you're talking about sexual abuse and secrets of family predators, that's a whole different level. And that may take a whole bunch more time to come to counseling. So once you get through, you create those healthy boundaries, and your counselor work with you and walk alongside of you on this journey. Then to me, it kind of like opens up your eyes to where you can see, who can I speak to in a safe place? Because you can speak to one family and use them at trust. Come on, let's be real about how some, they're not on our families.
Yeah.
But you speak to one, as soon as you speak to one and you think that's somebody you could trust, they're my safe place, they good. Girl, Larisha, let me tell you, I just got on the phone with Rachel and she said blah, 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 blah. And then next thing you know, it's in the family group chat, on the family Facebook page, and you then further broken trust. So the question that I would have to kind of pose is this: when looking at your family, who all have a voice? because a lot of families don't have people in the family don't have voice. So when you go and talk, they have a voice. When I mean voice, I mean you go and you speak to them and they automatically negative coming against you. Oh, why don't you just shut up? Get past that. Why you still, you know what I'm saying? Why you want to bring this cigarette? You trying to make our family look bad? No, we are healing around this piece. That's what they are saying. But you taking that joke, bring it down. Because think about it. In most families, what do? Automatically escalate. Why we yelling? Why we yelling? So that lets me know that person does not have a voice. You're using actions and then voice. You're getting hot.
And that person may not have a voice, but that person may have a role in the secret as well. That something can be tied to them, and now they're being brought into it. And I think as therapists, as we all are, we look at things from a lot of different dimensions. When it comes to family secrets, we have to look at family dynamics as well. Because secrets, how they may be held in a Caucasian family or African-American family may be very different in a Latino family or Asian family. Right. We know in Asian culture, if you do anything that brings any harm or shame upon a family member, they're considered to be like shunned out. So I think what the individual has to do is stop for a moment. They have to identify what the secret is, figure out who they may be able to talk to, and then kind of map out the process for getting to healing. It may not include telling the family anything at all. You may have to heal within. And like we said before, go on with your business, with your family of origin or your family of creation. And if there's nowhere there for a family of creation, then who do you start to develop a relationship with? Especially if these individuals aren't accepting you. The many different types of family secrets that may be out there. You have your individual secrets. There may be something just happened with me and a cousin. It's just between them. We just gonna leave it at that. Individual itself. I saw something, but I ain't saying nothing. But normally what we see is some people out there know some things that are going on, 3, 4, 5, 6 of y'all, and you're holding it within the family. And what it does eventually is bring the whole family down. If those individuals are not able to be open, they're not able to be honest. And when you don't have that, you don't have the ability for a person to feel like they're cared for, they're heard, understood, and that person can't heal. So at what point do individuals come to within themselves that I have to face this head on? Even if it's without my family. Do I pull my best friend in with me to help with this? Do I pull in my girlfriend over here? Do I pull in my brother from another mother, as they used to say, and deal with that? And I believe in the world that we're living in today, there's more secrets out there than most people would like to think about.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up because I started looking like, what types of family secrets are there? I know we were talking about money, which is a big one, finances, and then molestation, so incest and things like that in the family. But there could be serious health issues, death, or impending divorce.
Eternity test.
That we find out at the funeral.
Who are all these children?
Why do you look like us?
Where they come from, or names listed on obituaries and things and such, and you like, where this person come from? I ain't never heard of them, but well, you know that's such and such, and that so why do we wait until funerals?
Got that on my paper, I promise.
Why do we wait till there's a funeral to start talking about things that has a major impact on people? I've watched and sat in family situations where big secrets came out because somebody passed, and you look and you're like, what? What? Why? You got all the questions, right? When, where, how, what?
Right.
Just lost. And you like, why wasn't any of this ever discussed while the person was living so that questions could be answered? Now this person is sitting here with a ton of questions and no one to answer them.
Right.
And I believe that is the goal of some family secret. They hope that it dies out.
Take it to the grave.
Take it to the grave. So if you think about it, it has been demonstrated for us, even in our own government. Something happens in the 50s. Oh, we're going to seal these records. You can't open it up until 2020. Half the people that's got anything to do with it is dead and gone. So nothing can be done. You're not going to open up no cases. It's over and done with. I think a lot of families know that these secrets are there. And yes, they have a fear of somebody maybe retaliating. They have a sense of pride. They're trying to uphold their standing in the community or whatever the case may be. they don't want it to get out. So they're just hoping that it just goes along so long that when the last person that knows it dies, if you're still there, oh, I'm safe now. But what happens when it leaks out?
And how it affects the person. What I'm sitting up here thinking about is this, the different generations. So how do people operate in the different generations? So I think, kind of to you all's point, the questions you were asking, like how to create like a safe space for someone to be able to talk and have these conversations. Not trying to be mean, and it's dependent upon the person in that generation. You know, if they have a certain age, baby, you can hang it up. They not saying nothing. They're going to have an attitude. And then 9 times out of 10, what I found, and I, you know, God forgive me if I'm wrong, is that they always look at it about how it make me look.
Yes.
Not you. I don't care how you feel. It's about me. Why you trying to put my secret out there?
Put my business out there.
That part. Well, baby, it ain't got nothing to do with you. And I'll give, you know, personal example because some people can relate. When my when I had my child as a teenager and then having a conversation, he always had questions about his biological father. Questions. If you had somebody back in the day, baby, you can hang it up. Ain't no, you suck it up. You're going to be all right because you're making me look bad. But I had to ask myself, and that's what I see a lot in our age range. We're going to say from about 35 to 45. You don't know how old we are. But in our age range, what I'm finding in our generation is so many of us are combatant. Do I go with the older generation or do I go with our children? Let me tell you about these children. Y'all know, because we all got children about the same age around almost. They want to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help whatever God you serve. You know what I'm saying? You can't come to them with no mess. You can't come to them because they're going to ask questions. For us, if we ask questions, we get the taste slapped at our mouth. It was sassing, and you ain't my business, or stay out of grown folks' business. Even if it did pertain to you. So the generations, this is where our struggle is going on now. What choice did I make? I made the choice to have the conversation with our oldest son at his level.
Right.
He started asking at 9, breaking it down, bit-side pieces that we said. So why did I do this? Somebody said, well, Shan, why did you do that? Nobody can ever skirt the truth. I even said, go have a conversation with your biological father. You got my side, you got his side, and you determine what you want to do and go from there.
Yeah.
Why? Because every time we're going to a funeral, because I'm gonna ask questions. And you know when we talk with our eyes. Who is that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's so irritating because what I've learned is it leaves a void and a hole in that person that's connected that had no clue. Think about people who found out that some of y'all may know people that they are adopted. And no one's ever told them until they in the hospital, getting emergency surgery and need some blood. And what you mean my mother and my father cannot give me blood? This is my mother and father. That don't make sense. And they find them out right there in the hospital bed when they need pints of blood. So that's like a lie.
That's trauma.
That's traumatic.
Oh my God.
It's like a lie. If I'm sitting up here telling you the truth, nobody can lie about it. But as soon as I don't speak my truth about it, that opens up the door and give room for gossip and lies.
That reminds me. So I know we always talk about we're processing at the table and healing at the table. And you said some things that, you know, being able to talk to your son about certain things so that there would be no misunderstanding about what knowledge he received about that topic. And it just took me back to when I was going through trying to figure out who my father was. And I was a whole grown woman. And so I was questioned as to why I wanted to get a paternity test. Well, because I want to know, you know,
Right.
I really want to know. I wasn't ever really told the truth. I wasn't given any information. So I'm not going to say that a lie was told.
Right.
The truth just wasn't told either. No information was given. So I'm sitting here left with trying to figure out my identity at the moment of who I was and trying to see how I fit in the world around me. Thank God God took me through that process and I know who I am now. But in that moment, moment, like I didn't have any information to go from. And instead of any adult trying to help me figure it out, it was like, no, you can't do that. No, don't go that route. But give me something then.
Right.
Tell me something about who I am or where I came from so that I don't have the questions. My questions will be answered. But because my questions weren't answered, I took the route that I thought was best for me, choosing what I needed for me to do a paternity test to find out who is my biological father.
Right.
It going through that process was so nerve-wracking. I'm so thankful for my husband being there to walk with me through that thing. But he couldn't take on my emotion, from that because people decided not to talk. And keep on what was the second part of that definition?
It's misunderstood.
Yeah, or misunderstandings. I don't think
It's a mystery.
Yeah, I don't think it was a misunderstanding about that, but it was just wasn't shared. And I think they weren't looking at how it affected me. Like you said, Shan, it's all about saving for them how they feel, where they are. And you can't look at it in that aspect. You have to look at it, how is this affecting other people? That's the thing. I know. And we're going to this part with this selfishness or being people doing self-care, taking care of themselves, set boundaries and all of the things. I love it because I teach it and I'm real big on it. But when you are doing things for you or choosing things for you, there's still a way to do it that if it affects somebody else, it doesn't come across really negative or it affects them or hurts them in any kind of way. You have to know your motive. You have to know why you're doing a thing. Because I could set something up and say, this is for me. I'm doing it for me. But if I come out and I say real nasty things to you, Larissa, and it's hurtful to you, then did it serve either one of us?
Wow.
Did it really serve us? So in talking about all of the different things that I experienced and going through that, I chose to do what I did for me, but I think other people saw it as I was doing something against them. And this is another reason why a lot of family secrets don't come out, is because people are afraid of, well, if I do this, if I choose this route, how am I going to be taken? So again, the
Family shame.
the shame, going through the shame. I wrote that down to retaliation and all of the things, the conflict, the division in the family. When I wrote about my story and told what my experience was, I had come to a point or a place in my life where I decided, I know who I am. It's not that I don't care about how you feel, but in this instance, I kind of don't care how you feel.
Right.
Yeah.
This is about me.
Absolutely.
This is about me. And I think having that strength, that takes a lot to gain that strength to even get to that point to where you can say, this is about me and not about you.
Yes.
And I think we have to, like anything we do from a counseling standpoint, we dig deeper than what most people are willing to look at. When we think about family secrets, it's put on us early in childhood. A lot of times your parents do it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Uncle Jimmy.
Don't tell Dad.
We don't talk about Uncle Jimmy. Don't tell Daddy he's here. Right there for your child. Then guess what your child does? They learn to tell secrets when they go out with their friends and stuff.
And then my parents get mad. Careful, you told me that.
Right. Or you even have your parents that will do things to kids and say, hey, Mom, why doesn't Uncle Jim come? You know what? I prefer that whenever Uncle Jimmy's around, we don't really go deep in the conversation. You'll find out when you're older. So now you're doing that with your kids again. You listen it off. And so individuals have a lot of reasons why they want to keep secrets. But I think we need to go deeper into what some of those secrets are. We tend to like to think about the individual that may have been homosexual, individual that may have been born with some behavioral health difficulties. We think about individuals that have had kids outside of wedlock. Right? But we keep secrets about sickness. Like she was saying before. You go, well, any of your parents ever had heart disease? No. Well, your real daddy died from a heart attack.
Right. My real daddy. Wait a minute. He ain't my daddy.
That's two
secrets.
That's
Come
two secrets. You get individuals that are tied within certain organizations that the families are afraid for that to come out with. I'm just going to go out there and say it when you came down to Savory, the Ku Klux Klan, and all these other places like that. I'm gonna digress from that one. But that's why we have so many people right now don't want certain things to be taught in school because it's gonna bring some things out about their families. So my thing is this. You can't let your pride and your ego outweigh my behavioral health because it's more important to me than that is to you.
Yeah.
So if I need to go get help and deal with that on my own, I'm going to do that. You got to worry about your own because you're the one that's got to go to bed at night. I'm learning how to sleep.
So we have a responsibility. We do. If you know something, I think about it in two different ways. I think about with my own children, right? Like I know, I tell them right now, my kids are 11 and 7. I would say we don't keep secrets.
Right.
Right. So that's our culture in our family. I don't hide nothing. You don't hide nothing from me. Even if it's scary, even if you think you're going to get in trouble, even if you think you're going to disappoint me, we don't keep secrets.
Right.
So we have a responsibility to teach them early to be open and transparent, right? And to create that space, that safety that if you tell me something, we can deal with it. This is what I always say, we can handle hard things because we can. So go ahead.
You know what it does? It really causes more harm to an individual when they start keeping that first secret. You look at a child and say, hey, don't tell nobody about this. That makes it easier for that predator to come back and say, don't tell me.
That's true.
And now it's just stacked up secrets. Then when you find out all this stuff's been going on for 15, 20 years, this child is tore completely up. But everybody's around you. Don't keep secrets.
You should have told somebody, but then if you tell, I'm gonna whoop your tail.
Right.
And then you wonder why they don't say nothing because then the predator comes and says the same thing. If you say something, I'm gonna harm your family.
There you go.
Is that double bind? Isn't that the term?
If you let me know.
But you know what I wrote down? Let me look in the camera, y'all. It's interesting to me, and I want you all to think about your own family. I want you to think about yourself as I get ready to say this. We as family will blame the outcome of an individual instead of the root. So when you have, let's just run it down, an alcoholic in the family, someone that's strung out on drugs in the family, you sitting up here mad at them because you're making us look bad family-wise, but no one ever stopped to ask, why is cousin so-and-so like this? But we'll shame them. And we do that in regular, it don't even have to be family secrets. No one takes the time to hear another person's story. We always want to judge, which the word of God tells us not to do, but we do anyway, and we holier than now. You know what I'm saying? So then let's get back to the list. So you got an alcoholic, you got someone that's strung out on drugs, you have someone that can't keep their finances in order because they've never seen it in their home, but you never could tell nobody y'all broke, but baby, y'all sure look like y'all balling. You have someone that has 3 or 4 kids by 3 or 4 different daddies, and then come to find out one of the daddies may be an uncle. Okay, we even have men. Let's talk about this because we always talk about women. We even got men who's been touched by their aunts. But because I can't deal with that, because no one ever got me help. Because guess what? In certain cultures, baby, you can't even go to the dentist if your tooth was loose. You better tie a string around that tooth and slam the door. Trauma. You see what I'm saying? You couldn't afford a dentist lesson on a therapist, and you want me to be quiet. Don't tell nobody. Just don't make the family look bad. What does that do to a person? They internalize. It eats them from the inside out.
Yeah.
So if they don't go get help, now y'all ain't coming together as a collective family to raise money. You know, everybody go to GoFundMe, but raise money to go get this child some counseling. No, we set up and talk about their outcome. And we'll talk about how you're not going to ever make it. How many times y'all heard that in y'all family? This happened. You ain't gonna never make it. You're not going nowhere. You stupid. They could be the brightest person in the family. But all because it's interwoven with their family secrets. And then when they do make it, oh, now you think you better. Oh, Nikki, you living like this. Larissa, you driving this. Oh, you got your fancy degrees. Now you think you better. Why? Because you made the choice to break outside of the mold because the devil was already feeding further and surrounding you with substances to take your own life. Okay. But you made the choice because God said, and plucked you out.
Yeah.
And you went and you sought out a counselor, even though you couldn't afford it. And you got the help that you need. And that turned your whole, and now your family's still treating you funny. And you think you better because you went and got help and they chose to stay in dysfunction. Who am I talking to?
Yeah.
Girl,
Yeah. that
you
dysfunction
ain't
is
like set
crazy.
somebody free.
Listen.
Because now you're explaining their life story.
Yes.
You just explain someone's real story. And what they're going through, why they're experiencing this shame. It's not your fault. It's not.
Yeah. And people have to understand that family secrets, they break bonds. They don't see that. So just like we're sitting around the table, I'm gonna grab everybody grab me.
Okay. Like
Now, everybody knows this is a family. Everybody knows something happened to me. I want to say something, but my mom says, don't say nothing. And then she makes it through all her sisters. Don't say nothing. Now, where am I at? Over here by myself, and everybody wonder why I'm dressed different. Because it breaks that bond, because if I can't have the bond with my parents that they're supposed to protect and provide for me, and I'm telling you what's going on, now how can I trust them? So now I don't have a voice to talk to them. I definitely can't go tell anybody else because it's going to come back on me. So what do I end up doing? Holding that secret down on the inside, and then I start looking for ways to deal with that secret that are not conducive to healing.
And then
Alcohol, drugs, and all that stuff.
And then you get old enough and you get married and you cannot connect with your spouse.
There it is.
That's a whole nother. Come on, say that again. Say that one more time.
But that's what happens. You get older and then you cannot connect with your spouse.
You can't. Especially from a trust standpoint, a sexual standpoint. And I'll just say, I'm going to try to say this without putting too much information out. Let's say as a man, let's say I was sexually molested by a female when I was younger. Now I'm married and my wife says, well, you know what, baby, I would like to do this. And then I reject her. Now she's taking on my work. Now it's causing issues between me and her.
Right.
Now, I got a secret. I'm not trying to tell her what happened because I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
I'm afraid how she said, well, how did you let that happen? Well, wait a minute. A woman did something that makes you get. See, now, now we tore from Florida.
What you got, Larisha? Because you're just doing it.
So I guess can we just deal with the feelings? I heard you say the shame, love it all, but what about the betrayal? You know what I mean? Betrayal, because the big piece of it, it hinders from forgiving.
Right.
And you can't move forward. You know what I mean? Even if the secret is brought forward,
You still.
let's deal with the emotion of it,
Right.
the
Yes.
feelings of it, the betrayal of
So
it.
how do you deal with that? I mean, I know we're all therapists, but we're talking to people who may not understand that. I feel betrayed. How do I deal with that? How do I get through that?
Look, I'm sitting up here like, go ahead. I'm thinking, listen, I know, go ahead. Look, I'm thinking about when I was with a client. Now, what do we hear when it comes to family? Blood is thicker than water. No matter that's your family, I don't care what they do to you, you always have their back. All these things that dismisses how you feel and what you go through. And I'm telling you, like, I pray before I go in the session. So, because you don't know as a therapist what's going to come out. You know you equipped, but you be like, no, So I remember speaking to a client who was battling with the same thing. And a lot of people battle with this. And it's like, I want to be accepted by my family. I want to be a part of my family. But, this is going on and some people know and some people don't. And I'm so sick of these stupid cliches of blood is thicker than water and they treat me worse than my enemies. And I was like, okay. So this is what God laid on my heart to share with her, which was an amazing tool where I was clutching my pearls and I got out. There are 3 categories. Category 1 is your heartbeat. That's your heartstring. That don't even have to be family. That could be who you know that you can call up in the midnight hour. And they like, I don't even need to know what's going on. Give me the address. I'm en route. You know what I'm saying? I'm on my way. Sorry, y'all, military. I'm on my way. Then you have 2. those are the ones that, family members that you can be cordial around. You go to the funerals, you go to the wedding, you act like you got some cool, even though, I don't promote violence, but you want to drag them. They're not in the name of Jesus, right? And then you got the third one. I can't deal with you because you're so toxic. You still my family. I will pray for you. I love you, but I can't deal with you. So then you go back after those three categories and you place your family members in those three categories because, of course, this is post setting up healthy boundaries. Now, I got these healthy boundaries. How do I deal with these people? Let's just be real. You know who the liar is in your family. You know who the thief is. You know who the backstabbing one is. You could place the labels on. Exactly. Oh, that's a whole nother show. Multiple people in one.
Yeah.
But place them. That's how you stay safe. Because all too often you got all these secrets, this dysfunction, this toxicity. Nobody's fruit is prospering, from a previous show. But you have to see, how do I maneuver and operate? All the while, now you married. Now you got your family creation. You got your children. We were taught to respect your parents. The word of God is even used. No matter what, you don't say nothing about your parents because you know all the days of your life. Let's go back and really exegete the text, but I'll leave that alone. So anywho, what category are you going to place them in? And deal with them accordingly. I love you all. But you know what I'm saying? Category number 1 is who I deal with. Category number 2, category number 3, I can't deal with you, but I'll pray for you. And I love you anyway.
Yeah.
That's it. That's so real, so real. And I'm glad that you broke that down for your client like that. And I think sometimes we do that without knowing that that's what we're doing. Because I've had to do that. And I didn't break it down or I didn't think about it in that sense. But thinking about it as you're talking, I've had to do that recently. With some family members, is put them in categories as to how I choose to live my life.
Right.
Because it's at the end of the day, it's about me, what I need for me. And if you're not feeding what I need or that positivity, those things that I'm looking for, then I have to deal with you accordingly.
Yes.
So I'm not going to force myself just because you hold the title as cousin, aunt, uncle, grandma, whoever, whatever you want to hold in a family, that you're entitled to be in my space. That's a privilege.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It is okay to have those type of boundaries. Because I remember a client who just had a really hard time, that the reality is their loved one wasn't okay, right? They didn't have the emotional capacity or the emotional love or they didn't fulfill their role as a parent. Right. And so it is really hard to accept that, man, my parent is not this or my parent is not that. So I really do have to create that distance between me and them. And it's okay.
Right.
It's okay that hurts. And it's okay that you do put that safety first.
Yes.
Them.
So what about even asking the question, why did they hold the secret? What were they going through? You know what I mean? Kind of flipping the script. And I know that we've said it's what I need and how I, need to, you know what I mean, trust and talk and confront, you know what I mean, to process through. But what about flipping it and getting a different perspective on why, like why they did it?
I'm definitely here for that. It goes back because your identity is about that individual. So when I take it back to that, I ask myself, what is it going to do for you to know the why?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So it might be important
about having more empathy.
Maybe
helping you,
depending on what it was. Yeah, depending on what the secret is, I think it could help in that. I'm all for that because I always present to my clients a different perspective, a different way to look at things when they're processing through, so that they can see that they were only doing what they knew. Right? They couldn't give you what they didn't have to give, and so maybe them holding that secret it's because secrets were held from them, and that's what they were taught. So generational.
Or maybe that same thing happened to them.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
And they were told you better keep this a secret or blah, blah, blah. And then they just, hey, you got to keep the secret going too.
Yeah. Because if you come forth with your secret, it's a chance, like we were saying earlier, that it may be, come back to me or whatever. Let me share this real quick. Or this was my thought that I wrote down too. And it's interesting because, of course, I think about military and so many people that you meet. And, you ask the question, hey, why did you join the military? Or, hey, why did you move from your home to a different...
We got the same.
Listen. Why did you end up moving? Because I always ask people, I love to meet people from all around. Since I left and joined the military, to meet people from different cultures. And I ask, hey, how did you get from Africa here? How did you come from India and then you ended up as a doctor here? I love to get to know people and hear their stories and stuff. But this is a thing. I often hear parents say this. My child left and they don't like coming back home, but they never like coming back home. I don't know what's wrong with them. I did the best. They make it about me. You know what I'm saying? I did the best that I could. And you mean to tell me you can't even call me for my birthday? You can't come home for Thanksgiving? Never looking at it from a different perspective. Let's switch this thing around. 180. What did you do?
Yeah.
Because most people, children, that part, most children that I know, I even think about our children. We have a son that's in the Air Force, about to have another one, or whatever. That joker love coming home. I'm going to my mom and daddy house. You know what I'm saying? So then the question, parent, is this. What environment are you creating or have you created that is not comfortable for your child to come back home?
That's funny you say, because as soon as you said that, he comes home because you created an environment that allowed that. And a comforting, a loving environment that made him want to come home. A lot of times people leave and don't come back because the environment is not conducive.
Yes.
To them being who they need to be, and it's toxic. It's very toxic. And so when you learn that you can live a different type of life somewhere else and not have to deal with that, it's hard to go back to something that that you don't agree with, that doesn't work for you anymore. That's like saying, well, some people do, but I'm trying to think of a good analogy to use in this.
I'm about to say, you're just saying. Adam Hughes.
No, I'm gonna keep that one. I'm gonna pass it. I'm pass. But yeah, you create the environment. It's all about the environment. I always say, like, I'll go home and visit. I love my family, I do, but I say I have to love them from a distance. There are certain ones, like my mom. If my mom and my grandmother was to move to Texas, I hate to say it, but I'll probably never go back to Illinois. And that's just the truth.
Yeah.
They are my reason for going back. And I tell my mom this all the time too.
Right.
And she sees it because when I come home to visit, I spend most of my time in St. Louis or in Missouri. I'm not at home because of the toxicity that's going on within the family unit.
Right.
It doesn't make me love them any less. It just, like I said, I put them in those categories. Yeah, for me, my boundaries.
And that's the thing. I'm sorry. I was thinking about Jesus and I'm a third David Rose. Because people would always say, to be honest, let's think about environment, like you were saying, bringing forth environment. Comfortable. I believe my growing up, because sometimes I've had some classmates say, oh, you think you're better? You don't want to say you're from there. Yes, I do. I don't think I'm better. Ooh, this is good. I don't think I'm better than my family and my friends. You do. I never said that I thought I was better. I'm always out here representing 73084. Come on, somebody. I don't know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? But it's the fact that I got out and did something. I left, because think about it. When it comes to family, when it comes to where you come from in your environment, you, sir, when it did something that I wish that I was strong enough to do. And so now, every time you come back home, I got to see what I could have been.
Ooh.
I gotta see. And you had all this happen to you. I'm just pointing at him. Y'all do know I'm married to him, right? So you had all this happen to you when everybody around here said when you was growing up in the church, out the church, in the neighborhood, out the neighborhood, in the family, out the family, that you would never make it. You're gonna turn out like you're no good daddy, you're no good mama. You know, how many people have said that in families?
Yes. Yeah.
But God. I got to say my God, sorry, because God is the one that kept me, baby. But God. And so now every time you come back for whatever water festival, that's what they have where you from. Water festival, you know, Texas got all watermelon festival. Texas got festivals for everything. But every time you come on, now got to see you and you doing good and you don't look older than what your actual age is. You don't look stressed out. You done went and deployed in wars and all this kind of stuff. And you got all your limbs? So you mean to tell me when they tell me if I would have joined this army, I would have died, but you didn't?
Yeah.
How many families deal with that? And then they'll even take your secret and say, let me see, can I hurt you by putting the family secret out now? How many toxic family members we got there? So family secrets still kill and destroy. But it can free the person who's tired of carrying it because it's eating them up from the inside out. That's my spiel.
And that's the nature of a lot of families when it comes to family secrets. It's no different than being in prison. You've been in prison for a certain number of years with all these people. Then when you get ready to get out, you start getting treated differently. People will conspire to kill you, plant something on you to keep you in there longer because they don't want to see you be free.
My God, that's... I know.
Misery loves company.
Yeah.
Misery loves. I just want the people out here to know that as you are watching this, just take this in and just know that what you've been experiencing and going through, you're not alone. It's real. But there is recovery on the other side. You can recover from family secret. You can.
Yes.
Yes. This is so good.
It's amazing. And the thing is, we are very personable at times. And the reason why, but we're relatable. Because a lot of people think in our profession, oh, y'all are talking about family secrets and you're up here talking about ABCDE and y'all ain't never went through anything. But this is the thing, because we never get to learn anybody's story you don't know. We know what we've been through.
I mean, we've shared some of those things here, right here on this show. Right. I've talked about a lot of personal things here of what I've experienced. I mean, it's a lot with my several family secrets, but just knowing, like you said, that you're not alone, that you can heal. There's another side to it. You don't have to remain in the space that you're in. But the thing is, I know a lot of times people want to go, well, oh, they giving me like the green light to go out and tell my family secret. No, what we're saying is deal with you first. There's a personal journey that you need to go on first before you decide what it is that you're going to do. Because once you air that family secret, then what are you going to do? You can't take it back. So you have to be in a place where you're okay with the fact that you've given out this information or said this information. If you say it and it hurts you just as much as it did when it was first done or said or whatever, what justice are you serving for yourself? So understand that. Go on your personal journey first. Heal first before you address that family secret. So, because there are a lot, we talked about toxic families, that understanding that sometimes in talking to family members, they're not going to be openly ready to hear what you have to say. There's going to be rejection. They might even leave, so there's abandonment. And if you are already in a bad space before, you're going to be even in an even worse space afterwards if you haven't dealt with you. So make sure that that's something that you're ready for. Before you share that family secret. The other thing too is, while we're talking about where some family members may be closed off and such, there is a possibility with some family members, and you have to know sometimes you got to start small. So you start with your intimate family, those that are closest around you, and start a discussion to start to heal from that secret. And then if it needs to go outside of that, then you do that. I think we said earlier, or talked about earlier, where you can heal without having to share that secret.
Right.
You don't have to necessarily put it out there. Now, going to therapy, the therapist, I would hope, ain't gonna tell you, go share that secret. I would hope that they wouldn't do that. There has to be a decision that you make.
Right.
Whether you decide, I'm going to share this, but it has to be your decision. And make sure you have the right motives behind it.
Yeah. So in the few minutes that we have, for someone who's saying, I'm tired of this secret in my family, we need to do something about it. Let me just kind of say this. It may not be the best because everybody's seen these interventions. I don't do. Because for you, we need to do an intervention and this, and we're going to bring everybody together. I would encourage you to get a mediator. Bring in, maybe you want to go to family counseling. Don't try to do it, because if your family's one to go click, tick, and boom, that could be bad, and we can see, y'all on the news. So please don't think, well, the counselors that I've been listening to on their show said bring everybody. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. So it's a way. You go get the help, you heal. And if you feel with the family, and don't try to, this is what people have been doing lately. You're just like they do when it comes to couples counseling. You're trying to guilt trip somebody into coming to family counseling. Right. Because guess what? When it comes to counseling, a person has to come to that on their own. So if they say, I'm tired of this, and all the cousins want to get together, the aunties, the uncles, but Dia and I don't want to, let them not. But if y'all want to heal at y'all's level so y'all can help y'all generation going forward, consider that. But don't think that because y'all listen to us that we said, because no, we didn't. No. We did not. Y'all don't become a follower. Nope. Look, we done worked too hard. Look.
And I think it's important for people to understand that do what's best for you in that healing process. You heal, and then if it means it branching out, that's for people to deal with. If not, then you work on that for yourself. And I see a quote here. It says, create a life that feels good on the inside, not one that just looks good on the outside. So work on you. All that other stuff, they got to do it for themselves.
Right.
Okay. So I know we've kind of given a little bit of lasting thoughts. Larisha, Rachel, you all have anything that you want to say before we close out about family secrets?
I got a scripture. Right in there. Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. So even in the midst of this trauma, even in the midst of the family secret, even in the midst of the betrayal, the shame, all of it works together for the good. God's not bringing it on you.
Right.
But it's all working together for the good.
Amen. I would just say that with family secrets, validate yourself. Because others may not. They might not agree with you. They may deny or reject, but you know what happened to you or the things that you saw or experienced. Validate yourself and be okay with your own truth. Yes. Don't deny your truth.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you all so much for joining us here on Talk Therapy Heal, where we have really taken a deep dive into family secrets, understanding what it is to have a family secret and what it means to overcome or come out of and be on the other side of that secret. We encourage you to re-listen, re-watch this video and pull the nuggets that you need from it so that you can heal and be in a heal place from whatever secret that might be looming in your family. Know that you can do it. God got you. He ain't gonna never leave you. And we're going to be here for you. So you got any comments, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. One of us will respond to you. But we thank you again for joining us here on Talk Therapy Heal. See you next time.
Bye. Let me tell you.